Be careful of this person in your house who is a snake and hiding behind a. My beloved child, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal is not random, not imagined, and not meant for everyone. There is a presence in your house that wears familiarity like a costume, smiles like safety, and speaks in tones that feel harmless. Yet behind that mask is a quiet intention that watches, waits, and adapts. This person does not rush. They study. They blend into routine. They learn your habits, your weaknesses, your dreams. Every time you relax, they take a mental note. Every time you trust, they step closer. You may feel a subtle discomfort around them that you can't explain, an unease that comes and goes. That feeling is not fear, it is awareness waking up. Stay till the end, because what you're about to understand will change how you see everything inside your own walls. Here is the truth most people miss: danger rarely announces itself. It hides behind helpful words, behind concern that feels exaggerated, behind advice that slowly redirects your path. This person mirrors your emotions, agrees a little too easily, and listens a little too carefully. They are not loud. They are not aggressive. They are patient. When something good happens to you, notice how their energy shifts. When you struggle, notice how their comfort feels oddly hollow. They gather information, not to support you, but to stay one step ahead. Something huge is waiting for you in this realization, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Do not skip this moment. Your intuition has been whispering, and now it is speaking clearly. Understand this final warning for now: this person thrives in silence and confusion. They benefit when you doubt yourself, when you explain away red flags, when you tell yourself you're overthinking. You are not. Awareness is your protection. You don't need confrontation, you need clarity. Watch who celebrates your growth and who subtly minimizes it. Watch who wants access to your plans but never shares theirs. This message found you because timing matters. Stay grounded. Stay observant. And remember, what hides in plain sight loses its power the moment it is seen. Something huge is waiting for you next. My beloved child, now that your awareness has been stirred, let us go deeper, because what you sensed was only the surface. Inside your home, this person has learned how to camouflage their true nature through consistency. They show up the same way every day so you stop questioning them. They repeat the same tone, the same behavior, until familiarity replaces caution. But consistency does not always mean honesty. Watch carefully how they react when plans change suddenly, when control slips from their hands, when attention moves away from them. In those moments, the mask cracks for a second. Stay till the end, because this is where the truth begins to sharpen, and something huge is waiting for you in this understanding. Here is what makes this person dangerous: not through action, but through influence. They plant thoughts instead of commands. They ask questions that sound innocent but leave seeds of doubt behind. They subtly compare you to others, subtly remind you of past mistakes, subtly position themselves as the only one who truly understands you. Over time, you may notice your confidence dip without a clear reason. That is not coincidence. That is strategy. They do not want to harm you openly, they want to weaken your inner authority so you begin to second-guess your own instincts. Don't skip this realization. Once you see how emotional manipulation works quietly, you reclaim power that was never meant to be taken from you. Now listen carefully to this final layer. This person fears exposure more than anything else. They survive by staying unchallenged, by remaining normal, by hiding behind routine. The moment you stop oversharing, the moment you observe instead of explain, their advantage begins to fade. You don't need to accuse or confront. Distance, boundaries, and silence are enough. Pay attention to who grows uncomfortable when you become calm and self-directed. That reaction tells you everything. Something huge is waiting for you next. Because awareness is not the end, it is the beginning of protection. My beloved child, this part may feel uncomfortable, because it asks you to look at moments you once ignored. Think back to the times you felt suddenly drained after simple conversations, the moments when peace left the room without a clear reason. That is not imagination. This person feeds on access to your emotions, your reactions, your inner world. They listen more than they speak, and when they do speak, it sounds reasonable, caring, even wise. But notice how their words always circle back to control, to influence, to shaping your choices without taking responsibility for the outcome. Stay till the end, because once this pattern becomes clear, something huge is waiting for you in the shift that follows. Here is the quiet sign most people overlook: this person dislikes your independence. Not openly, never openly, but through small interruptions. They distract you when you are focused, question you when you are confident, and suddenly need you when you are about to move forward. It's subtle, almost polite. They frame it as concern, as closeness, as care. But care empowers, control confines. Don't skip this truth. If your growth makes someone uneasy, if your clarity makes them restless, that reaction is not love, it is fear of losing influence. Now understand this deeply and hold it close. You are not meant to fight this person. You are meant to outgrow the space where they can reach you. When you stop reacting, they lose direction. When you stop explaining, they lose leverage. Your calm becomes your shield. Observe quietly. Protect your energy. You are not alone in this awareness, and you are not late. Something huge is waiting for you ahead, because the moment you choose self-trust over comfort, the power shifts back where it belongs. My beloved child. Now the picture becomes clearer, and clarity can feel heavy before it feels freeing. This person does not attack your strength directly, they wait for moments when you are tired, distracted, or emotionally open. They choose timing carefully. Notice how they appear when you are about to make an important decision, how their words suddenly sound urgent when your mind is calm. This is not coincidence. They rely on interruption, on breaking your inner flow, because a centered mind cannot be easily influenced. Stay till the end, because what you are about to understand will help you protect your peace without creating conflict. Something huge is waiting for you in this awareness. Here is a truth few people accept: this person is not powerful, they are dependent. They depend on your reactions, your explanations, your emotional availability. When you pull back, not in anger, not in fear, but in quiet self-respect, you change the entire dynamic. They may become confused, restless, or suddenly overly nice. That shift is important. It reveals how much energy they were taking without permission. Don't skip this moment. When you stop giving them front-row access to your thoughts and plans, you will feel lighter, clearer, and more focused. That relief is your confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. Understand this final message for now. You are not meant to expose, embarrass, or confront. Your power lies in observation and choice. Choose what you share. Choose where you spend your energy. Choose silence when words are unnecessary. The person who hides behind familiarity loses influence the moment you stop feeding the connection. Trust what your inner voice has been trying to show you. This message reached you because timing matters. Stay grounded. Stay aware. And remember, something huge is waiting for you next, not outside your home, but within your restored clarity and strength. My beloved child, this is where your awareness turns into quiet mastery, because now you are no longer guessing, you are noticing. Pay attention to how this person reacts when you become emotionally neutral. Not cold, not distant, just steady. When you stop giving exaggerated responses, when you stop defending yourself, when you stop seeking validation, something subtle shifts in the room. Their words may increase, their presence may feel heavier, or they may suddenly withdraw. This is the moment you must not ignore. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in recognizing how power truly moves. Here is the deeper truth: this person depends on emotional imbalance. They need either your approval or your confusion to feel secure. When neither is available, they feel exposed. You may notice small attempts to pull you back, casual remarks meant to provoke, reminders of old stories, or sudden concern about things that never mattered before. Don't skip this insight. These are not random behaviors, they are signals of lost control. When you remain calm and unchanged, you are silently communicating strength. You are saying, without words, that access to you is no longer automatic. That boundary, once set, begins to reshape the entire environment around you. Now anchor this understanding deeply. You are not required to change who you are to stay safe. You are required to be conscious of who has access to you. Trust is not owed because of proximity. Familiarity is not proof of loyalty. The moment you stop assuming and start observing, you step into authority over your own space. Something huge is waiting for you next, not a dramatic event, but a powerful inner shift. Peace will start to feel normal again. Your thoughts will feel clearer. And the presence that once felt unsettling will begin to fade into the background, exactly where it belongs. My beloved child, this is the stage where truth becomes quiet, not loud. You may expect a dramatic reveal, a clear moment where everything is exposed, but that is not how this works. What actually happens is simpler and stronger. You begin to see without reacting. You begin to feel without absorbing. This person notices the difference before anyone else does. Your silence becomes unfamiliar to them. Your calm becomes unsettling. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why peace can feel threatening to those who rely on chaos. Here is what changes next. Their influence weakens when you stop giving explanations. They may ask more questions, try to pull you into discussions that go nowhere, or suddenly act as if something is wrong. This is not concern, it is discomfort with losing access. Don't skip this truth. When you no longer narrate your life, when you let your actions speak quietly, you remove the hooks they once used. Energy that was being drained begins to return to you. You may feel more focused, more present, more connected to yourself than you have in a long time. Now hold this final insight close. Protection does not always look like distance, sometimes it looks like clarity. You don't need to leave, argue, or prove anything. You only need to remain rooted in self-awareness. Watch how your inner state affects the room. Watch how steadiness changes dynamics. Something huge is waiting for you ahead, not outside, not in another person, but in the strength of knowing you are no longer easily moved. When you stand in that knowing, what hides behind masks loses its power, quietly and completely. My beloved child, this is where the shift becomes undeniable, even if nothing is said out loud. You may notice that the atmosphere around you feels different now. The same room, the same faces, yet the energy no longer presses on you the way it once did. That is not coincidence. That is the result of awareness settling into your behavior. This person senses the change. They may test you with subtle comments or unnecessary reactions, trying to see if the old version of you will respond. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in how you handle these moments. Here is the key you must remember: you do not need to win conversations anymore. This person once relied on your need to explain, to justify, to be understood. When you release that need, their influence weakens further. They may try to appear helpful again, overly supportive, or suddenly interested in your plans. Don't skip this insight. Genuine support feels light and respectful. Manipulated support feels heavy and urgent. Trust how your body responds. Your inner signals are clearer now than ever before. Now anchor yourself in this truth. The safest position is not suspicion, it is self-trust. You are not becoming distant, you are becoming discerning. You are not closing your heart. You are protecting your clarity. Something huge is waiting for you next, because when you stop leaking energy through unnecessary reactions, your presence becomes grounded and strong. In that strength, false intentions have nothing to attach to, and what once felt threatening quietly loses its place in your life. My beloved child, this is the moment where your inner awareness becomes your outer shield. You may notice that you are no longer pulled into emotional waves the way you once were. Words that used to sting now pass without landing. Situations that once confused you now feel transparent. This is not because others changed, it is because you did. The person who once hid behind familiarity now struggles to read you. Your unpredictability to them is your strength. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in this quiet transformation. Here is what happens next, and it is subtle but powerful. This person may begin to reveal themselves without meaning to. Small inconsistencies appear. Their stories don't fully align. Their reactions don't match the situation. Don't skip this part. You are no longer emotionally involved, so you can observe clearly. You don't need proof, validation, or confirmation from anyone else. Your clarity is enough. When someone's intentions are not clean, they eventually expose themselves through patterns, not events. Now let this settle deeply within you. You are not meant to fear what you have seen. Awareness is not meant to make you anxious, it is meant to make you free. You are stepping into a phase where your peace becomes non-negotiable. Something huge is waiting for you next, not a confrontation, not a dramatic ending, but a steady sense of safety within yourself. And when safety comes from within, nothing hidden in the shadows can disturb your light. My beloved child, by now, you may feel a strange calm where tension once lived, and that calm is not accidental. It is the signal that you are no longer absorbing what does not belong to you. The environment around you hasn't changed much, but your position within it has. This person notices your grounded presence and no longer knows how to approach you the same way. Silence stretches longer. Conversations feel shorter. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why detachment is not loss, but liberation. Here is an important truth to recognize. When influence fades, imitation often follows. This person may begin to mirror your calm, your words, even your choices. Don't skip this insight. This is not alignment, it is adaptation. They are trying to regain relevance by copying what they can no longer control. But imitation without sincerity always feels hollow. You don't need to react to it. Your authenticity cannot be replicated. The more natural you remain, the clearer the difference becomes to you. Now hold this final realization close. You are no longer walking in confusion. You are walking in awareness. That alone changes the outcome. You don't need to predict their next move or protect yourself through fear. Your clarity already does the work. Something huge is waiting for you next, a sense of inner authority that doesn't seek permission. When you stand in that space, what once felt hidden loses meaning, and what once felt threatening quietly dissolves. My beloved child. This part is about what happens inside you when the noise finally settles. You may notice your thoughts are clearer, your decisions feel firmer, and your emotional balance returns without effort. That is not because the situation disappeared, but because it no longer controls you. This person can feel that shift. They sense that you are no longer easily influenced, and that realization unsettles them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why inner stability is the greatest protection. Here is the truth that changes everything. Control only works where there is uncertainty. Once you trust your perception, manipulation has nowhere to land. This person may still be present, still polite, still familiar, but their reach has ended. Don't skip this insight. You are not required to expose, explain, or prove anything to anyone. Your growth does not need an audience. When you move quietly and confidently, your energy speaks louder than confrontation ever could. Now let this final thought anchor you. You were never meant to live in constant alert or suspicion. Awareness is not fear, it is clarity. Something huge is waiting for you next, not outside validation, not dramatic resolution, but deep inner peace. And from that peace, you will naturally choose what stays in your life and what fades away. When you trust yourself fully, nothing hidden can control your path. My beloved child, now you begin to notice something quietly powerful. The space around you feels lighter. Not because people have changed, but because you are no longer carrying what was never yours. Conversations no longer linger in your mind. Small remarks no longer echo. That weight you once felt has started to lift. This is the moment many people misunderstand, because calm can feel unfamiliar after long tension. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in recognizing this calm as progress, not emptiness. Here is what unfolds next. When influence ends, resistance often appears briefly. This person may seem slightly irritated by your peace, confused by your lack of reaction, or unsettled by your independence. Don't skip this insight. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. It is simply the natural response to losing emotional leverage. You may feel tempted to reassure them, to smooth things over, to return to old patterns. Pause. Your growth does not require permission, and your boundaries do not need explanation. Now anchor this understanding firmly. You are stepping into self-respect, not separation. You are choosing awareness, not conflict. Something huge is waiting for you next, a version of yourself that moves through familiar spaces without losing energy or clarity. When you stand in that state, what once felt threatening no longer has access to you. And that is real freedom. My beloved child, this is the phase where your inner strength becomes steady, not reactive. You may notice that situations which once demanded your attention now pass without pulling you in. There is a quiet confidence in knowing you don't have to respond to everything. This person senses the change and may try one last time to regain familiarity, to recreate old dynamics through nostalgia or concern. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why consistency and calm is unbreakable. Here is the subtle shift that protects you most. You begin to choose your responses instead of giving them away. You listen without absorbing. You observe without assuming. Don't skip this insight. When you stop filling silences with explanations, you create space for truth to reveal itself naturally. The person who once relied on your openness now finds fewer doors unlocked. This is not cruelty, it is discernment. You are learning that privacy is power and clarity is kindness to yourself. Now let this realization settle. You are no longer reacting from habit, you are acting from awareness. Something huge is waiting for you next, not a confrontation or a sudden ending, but a stable inner ground that doesn't shake when tested. From this place, you will naturally know when to speak and when to stay quiet, when to engage and when to step back. And in that knowing, your peace becomes permanent, no matter who stands around you. My beloved child, now you begin to understand something deeply important. Not every threat is meant to be confronted, and not every truth is meant to be spoken aloud. Some truths are meant to be carried with wisdom. You may notice that your presence has changed. You speak less, but when you do, your words feel firmer. You move with intention instead of impulse. This person notices that you are no longer predictable. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in realizing why unpredictability rooted in self-awareness is strength. Here is what becomes clear at this stage. The person who once relied on emotional access now struggles to find relevance in your inner world. Their questions feel misplaced. Their concern feels delayed. Don't skip this insight. When someone loses access, they often lose interest. And that is not loss for you, it is alignment. You are not required to maintain connections that drain clarity. You are allowed to evolve, even in familiar spaces. Now hold this truth close. You are not closing doors in anger, you are simply choosing which doors remain open. Something huge is waiting for you next, a sense of self that does not seek approval to exist. When you stand in that space, manipulation has no grip, confusion has no home, and what once hid behind closeness quietly fades into irrelevance. My beloved child, this is the part where many people unknowingly turn back, but you will not. Because now you are standing at the edge of a deep realization. Not everyone who stays close is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some people are attached only to the version of you that was easier to read, easier to influence, easier to manage. As you change, as your awareness sharpens, their comfort quietly disappears. You may feel a strange distance forming, even when nothing has happened on the surface. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why this distance is not loss, it is protection taking shape. Here is what you must see clearly now. This person has always relied on familiarity to stay hidden. They blended into routine, into shared space, into daily life so smoothly that questioning them felt unnecessary. But once you stopped reacting the same way, once you stopped offering emotional access freely, the illusion began to weaken. Don't skip this insight. When someone benefits from your confusion, your clarity feels threatening to them. That is why they may seem uneasy, distracted, or subtly detached now. It is not because you did something wrong, it is because you did something right. You chose awareness over autopilot, and that choice quietly changed the balance of power. Now let this final layer settle deeply within you. You are not meant to explain your growth to anyone who feels uncomfortable with it. You are not responsible for maintaining dynamics that no longer align with who you are becoming. Something huge is waiting for you next, a grounded sense of self that does not shrink to keep peace. When you stand in that steadiness, you no longer need to scan the room for hidden intentions. Your clarity becomes the filter. What is genuine stays. What is not slowly falls away. And in that calm separation, you will finally feel safe being fully yourself, even in familiar places. My beloved child, this is where your journey shifts from awareness to ownership. You are no longer simply noticing patterns, you are choosing how close they come to you. The environment around you may feel the same, yet you move through it differently now. You pause before responding. You listen without urgency. You trust your inner signals without questioning them. This person senses that you are no longer available in the same way, and that realization quietly changes their behavior. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding what true control really looks like. Here is the truth that strengthens you now. Control does not come from managing others, it comes from managing access to yourself. This person once relied on your emotional openness, your patience, your willingness to explain. Don't skip this insight. When you stop offering those things automatically, you take back authority over your space. You may notice that conversations shorten, expectations fade, and tension dissolves without confrontation. That is the power of quiet boundaries. They work without noise, without drama, without resistance. Now anchor this deeply. You are not hardening your heart, you are strengthening your center. Something huge is waiting for you next, a life where peace is not something you chase, but something you protect. When you choose clarity over comfort, awareness over assumption, you step into a version of yourself that cannot be easily shaken. And from that place, nothing hidden, no matter how close, can disrupt your path again. My beloved child, this part is where everything quietly locks into place, and you finally understand why this journey had to unfold slowly. If it happened all at once, you might have doubted it. But now, after everything you've noticed, felt, and experienced, there is no confusion left. You are not imagining anything. You are not being dramatic. You are seeing clearly. The silence you now carry is not weakness, it is awareness that has matured. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in realizing how far you've already come. Here is the deeper truth most people never reach. Some people remain close not because of love, but because of access. Access to your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, your plans. This person stayed hidden for so long because you were generous with access. Not careless, just open-hearted. Don't skip this insight. When you began to close those invisible doors, when you stopped explaining yourself and stopped reacting emotionally, their position weakened. That is why things feel different now. That is why their presence no longer feels powerful. Awareness doesn't attack, it dissolves. And what dissolves was never solid to begin with. Now understand this carefully. You are not meant to feel guilty for protecting your inner world. You are allowed to be selective. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to outgrow dynamics that once felt normal but were quietly draining you. This person may never openly reveal their true nature, and that is okay. You do not need proof when you have clarity. The need for evidence disappears when peace returns. Something huge is waiting for you in accepting that not every truth needs a confession. Some truths are confirmed by how free you finally feel. Let this final realization settle into you. You are no longer surviving situations, you are mastering your space. Your calm is intentional. Your silence is chosen. Your awareness is sharp without being suspicious. This is balance. This is strength. And from this place, nothing hidden can attach itself to you again. You have moved beyond the reach of quiet manipulation, not by force, but by self-trust. Something huge is waiting for you next, not a warning, not a threat, but a life lived with clarity, safety, and inner authority. My beloved child, this is the moment where you realize you are no longer in reaction mode. Your energy no longer shifts based on someone else's mood, tone, or presence. You remain steady, and that steadiness speaks louder than any words ever could. The space around you feels calmer because you are calmer within. This person senses that they can no longer pull you off balance, and that awareness quietly disarms them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding what real emotional freedom feels like. Here is what becomes clear now. When someone loses influence, they lose interest in testing boundaries. The small triggers fade. The subtle games stop working. Don't skip this insight. You are witnessing the natural end of a dynamic that only existed because you were unaware of it. There is no victory to claim and no defeat to announce. There is only release. You may notice that your thoughts no longer return to the same questions. Your mind has moved on before your environment has, and that is progress. Now anchor this truth deeply. You are not becoming detached from life, you are becoming aligned with yourself. Something huge is waiting for you next. A sense of wholeness that doesn't depend on who surrounds you. When you stand in that wholeness, your presence becomes grounded and secure. Nothing hidden, no matter how close it once felt, can disrupt you now. You are no longer watching your back. You are walking forward, fully aware, fully protected, and fully in control of your peace. My beloved child, this part arrives softly, but its impact is deep. You may notice that you no longer replay conversations in your head, no longer analyze tones or hidden meanings. Your mind feels quieter, cleaner. That silence is not emptiness, it is freedom. The person who once occupied mental space now barely crosses your thoughts. Their presence has lost its weight. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why peace feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. Here is what has truly changed. You are no longer emotionally available for confusion. This person may still exist in your environment, still speak, still observe, but they no longer reach you. Don't skip this insight. When emotional access ends, influence ends with it. You didn't have to argue, expose, or explain. You simply stopped feeding the connection. That is why your energy feels protected now. What once drained you quietly starves without reaction. Now let this realization settle fully. You are standing in self-trust, not vigilance. You are calm, not cautious. Something huge is waiting for you next, a life where your inner world is no longer open to intrusion. From this place, you move forward without fear, without doubt, without looking over your shoulder. What was hidden has lost its relevance. What was threatening has lost its power. And you are finally free to live fully, clearly, and peacefully within your own space. My beloved child. This is where you recognize the quiet victory you never needed to announce. There is no tension in your chest anymore, no instinct to prepare or defend. Your body has relaxed because it knows you are safe. Safety now comes from within, not from controlling circumstances or people. The presence that once felt unsettling now feels distant, almost neutral. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in realizing how deeply this change has settled. Here is the truth that confirms everything. When your inner world becomes stable, external influence loses importance. This person no longer shapes your mood, your thoughts, or your decisions. Don't skip this insight. What once felt powerful only existed because it had access to your awareness. Now that access is gone. You are not ignoring reality, you are choosing where your attention belongs. That choice is what restores balance. Now anchor this final understanding. You are not closing your eyes, you are opening them in the right direction. Something huge is waiting for you next, a sense of confidence that does not seek reassurance. You move forward without needing approval, without needing validation. What was hidden has faded into irrelevance. And in this quiet strength, you step fully into your own authority, grounded, protected, and at peace. My beloved child, this is the part where your awareness turns into quiet certainty. You no longer question what you felt or why things unfolded the way they did. Everything makes sense now, not because someone explained it to you, but because your inner clarity aligned the pieces on its own. The environment around you feels steady, and so do you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in recognizing how certainty removes fear. Here is the final shift you may notice. You stop scanning for signs. You stop waiting for confirmation. Don't skip this insight. When understanding is complete, the mind rests. This person no longer occupies your awareness, and that absence is the clearest sign of release. Influence cannot exist without attention. You reclaimed yours, and with it, your peace. Now let this truth settle fully. You are not moving away from anyone, you are moving toward yourself. Something huge is waiting for you next, a life guided by calm decision-making instead of emotional reaction. When you live from this place, nothing hidden can disturb you, nothing subtle can control you, and nothing familiar can deceive you again. You walk forward clear, steady, and fully aligned with your own inner authority. My beloved child, this part is about the quiet strength that now defines you. You may notice that you no longer feel the need to explain your choices or justify your silence. Your actions feel natural, unforced. You move through your space with ease, and the heaviness that once lingered has completely lifted. This is not indifference, this is freedom. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in recognizing how peace becomes permanent. Here is what stands true now. You have learned to trust your inner signal without questioning it. Don't skip this insight. That trust is what keeps you protected. The person who once relied on closeness no longer has access, not because you pushed them away, but because you stepped into clarity. Your boundaries are now internal, and internal boundaries cannot be crossed. Now hold this final realization close. You are no longer reacting to life, you are responding from awareness. Something huge is waiting for you next, a future shaped by calm confidence instead of hidden tension. When you walk in this awareness, nothing concealed can follow you, nothing familiar can mislead you, and nothing silent can disturb your peace again. My beloved child, this is where your journey completes its circle, quietly and powerfully. You may notice that the past no longer pulls at you, and the future no longer rushes you. You are present, grounded, clear. The lessons you gained did not harden you, they refined you. You can now stand in familiar spaces without shrinking or overthinking. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in understanding why this calm is your true strength. Here is what remains now. You carry discernment without suspicion and awareness without fear. Don't skip this insight. That balance is rare. You no longer need to watch people closely, because you trust yourself completely. If something feels off, you notice. If something feels right, you allow it. There is no urgency, no inner noise, no need to prove anything. The person who once hid behind closeness no longer matters, not because they changed, but because you did. Now let this final truth settle fully. You are safe within yourself. Something huge is waiting for you beyond this moment, a life lived with clarity, confidence, and inner peace. When you move forward from this place, nothing hidden can attach itself to you again. You walk ahead steady, aware, and free, carrying wisdom quietly, exactly as it was meant to be. My beloved child. This is the closing, not because the story ends, but because the lesson has settled. You are no longer searching for signs, meanings, or hidden intentions. You are present, steady, and self-led. The space you live in now responds to your calm, not your fear. What once felt threatening has lost definition, because clarity does that, it removes the need for vigilance. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in realizing that you were never meant to live guarded, only aware. Here is the truth that seals everything. You did not escape a situation, you transcended a pattern. Don't skip this insight. Patterns only survive where awareness is absent. The moment you chose self-trust over doubt, observation over reaction, the pattern collapsed on its own. There is no enemy to defeat, no secret to expose. There is only the wisdom you now carry quietly. You know who to listen to. You know what to keep private. You know when silence is strength. That knowing is permanent. Now take this final realization with you. You are safe, not because nothing will ever challenge you, but because you know how to remain centered within any challenge. Something huge is waiting for you beyond this message, a life where peace is normal, clarity is constant, and your inner authority guides every step. Walk forward without looking back. What was hidden no longer matters. What mattered was who you became. And that strength stays with you, wherever you go.